this is like the fun part is setting up your studio. So I hope that this helps, and I hope it gives you kind of a roadmap of things that you need to get. And again, you know, it's an investment, but this is your product. Okay, well, obviously you're going to need a computer to plug your audio interface into. I'm not going to go into huge detail on the computer because I'm not like a computer nerd. You know, I've got a MacBook Air that I'm going to use for travel, and it's new and it's rose gold and I like it. But I also have an iMac that's got like a lot of RAM and a lot of storage space, and that's like my major computer. But for when I travel, I got a MacBook Air. Good piece of advice I've heard is make sure that it has 24 gigabytes of RAM. And the more storage, the better. The next thing that you're going to need is a pair of studio monitors. So you need a good listening environment to make the most of your studio monitors. You want to set them up in an equilateral triangle, no more than 3 to 4 feet away from you. I have a pair of Yamaha HS5 studio monitors. A pair of those is about $400-ish. The smaller your room, the smaller the subwoofer diameter needs to be on a pair of those. So I have an HS5. 5 is 5 inches because the subwoofer diameter is 5 inches, but they also have a 6.5 and an 8-inch. So it depends on the size of your room. So I have a pretty small room, so I got the HS5s. There's also KRK studio monitors that have some good options as well that are comparable. You do your research, figure it out. So the next thing that you're going to need, obviously, is your recording software, your digital audio workstation, or your DAW. There's a lot of them to choose from, and this is another one that's funny. People get really like precious about their DAW. I'm not one of those people. I'm like, you figure out something that works for you, that you learn your keyboard shortcuts. Great. I don't care what you use as long as it records the audio in the quality that you need. It doesn't matter. People get really weird about it. I use Logic Pro because I come from like a music background and I'm a Mac freak. With the Logic Pro, you pay $200 and you have it for a lifetime. It's very, very robust. It's got lots of great plugins. You pay $200, you have it for a lifetime. You get unlimited updates. I think it's an amazing price for what you get. I'm going to be doing a review for Logic Pro yet, and when I post that video, it'll be linked here. Another popular one is Adobe Audition. Love Adobe. The only downside is that you have to pay $20 subscription, and that's forever. Forever! So in 5 years, you will spend $1,200 versus the one-time payments for Logic Pro, which is $200. So make sure you factor in your subscriptions, because if you have a bunch of subscriptions, it just adds up and bleh. Reaper is another one I've heard of. It's like $60. There's also Twisted Wave, Audacity. There's a number of them. So as long as your DAW can record in 24-bit, 48 kilohertz quality and export in 16-bit or 41 kilohertz, and you need to be able to export in MP3 and WAV. Just get something that you're comfortable with and that you can get really fast with the keyboard shortcuts. You're fine. And if you're enjoying this video, I invite you to smash that like button and subscribe. I normally don't say this because it's annoying, but I have to. So subscribe to my channel and leave a comment in the description if there's something you'd like me to cover or something you'd like me to review, or you have a question about home studios. So the next thing that you need to consider is your room acoustics. Lots of people start with a walk-in closet because you've got a lot of sound absorbing materials with your clothes. If you're like me and your closet is 2 feet by 2 feet, that won't cut it. So you need something. So the next step up is you could get like a PVC pipe frame and then drape studio blankets over top. I use studio blankets from Vocal Booth To Go. And so that's a really nice option. That's not going to have a great amount of soundproofing, but it will give you that dryness that you need. So you won't have any reflection or reverb if you're surrounded by studio blankets. The next step up would be to build a booth. And I say build because yes, you can easily DIY a vocal booth. Just set up a wood 2x4 frame, and then as insulation, use Rockwool Safe and Sound. And then you can use like a brad nailer or a staple gun and staple polyester fabric to the inside and the outside of your booth. and use a studio blanket as your door. That's what I used for the first year or more doing voiceover. And I was able to achieve a negative 60 dB noise floor with that, so long as nothing was happening outside my window like construction. And the next step up from there is you can either beef up your booth, like I added Sonopan, Resilient Channel, and drywall to my booth. I've just finished doing that. And now I can get a crazy good noise floor, even if there's like construction right outside my window. Or you could, opt for getting one of the very, very expensive pre-made booths out there on the market. So those are some options available to you. You also may want to treat your entire room and forego having a vocal booth. That will require treating your whole room though. And you're gonna need like bass traps, you're gonna need sound absorbing panels on your walls. So for that, I would definitely recommend reaching out to Auralex. They give you like a whole rundown of what you could use in your room, and you can get a plan from them, and you can buy their products or you can make your own version of their products, but that's another option. Moving on. Okay, you're gonna need some cables for your setup. I would like to draw a simple diagram for you to show you how easy it is to put this all together. You're going to need a cable that plugs from your microphone into your audio interface. So XLR cable on one side, and the other side is a 1/4-inch cable or an XLR cable that plugs from your microphone into your audio interface. Then you're going to need a power cable to power your audio interface. So you get something that plugs into your computer, typically on a USB on one side, and it plugs into your audio interface, usually another USB on that side. And that's going to bring life to your microphone and connect your mic to your computer via something called phantom power. Doesn't matter, it just turns your mic on. And then you need cables to go from the outputs of your audio interface into your studio monitors. And then obviously you want to get the power cables to your studio monitors as well. A few other things that you're going to need are a pop filter for your microphone. You can get a double-sided foam pop filter, or there is a metal one called the Stedman Pro Screen XL pop filter that you can get. Obviously, you need a microphone stand or a boom arm. You can get one that is like a floor one, or you can install one on like a desk that's like just the arm, but you're obviously going to need a mic stand. And then another thing is I recommend having like your office space, like an office space or your studio room, like a space that's all yours, that you can do all of your stuff, all your editing, etc. Well, thank you so much for sticking around to the end with me. I'm going to throw in my recommendations now of like people you can connect with as, a consultant to get really, really good advice from. So there's Dan Friedman, who I took his webinar with Edge Studio. He also wrote a book called Sound Advice from an Audio Engineer's Perspective. There's Dan Leonard. He's the president of World Voices, and I took his webinar, The 3 Keys to WOVO Audio Quality, How to Meet the Standards. Awesome. Again, I will always recommend a membership to WOVO. Get it. I don't know if Dan does one-on-one stuff, but that webinar is really, really good. And there's Uncle Roy. If you've never heard of Uncle Roy, he's like a staple in the industry. He is great. You can do like a recording sample, send it to him. He'll give you his thoughts about how you can improve your audio. He'll set up effect stacks for you. Awesome. So those are some people that you can connect with if you have questions about your setup. There's lots of webinars out there from like the GVAA or WOVO or Edge Studio. There's so many resources out there. So this is like the fun part is setting up your studio. So I hope that this helps, and I hope it gives you kind of a roadmap of things that you need to get. And again, it's an investment, but this is your product. This is what you're selling. You're selling your skills and the fact that it's quality. You want to get, as they say, broadcast quality audio. What does that mean? It just means that it's high quality enough that it can appear on TV, on radio. You have to have good audio quality. And luckily now you can get all of this stuff, you can get it used at a good price, and like costs have come down so much from, 10, 15 years ago. So have fun sourcing out your stuff, and good luck to you. Have fun creating wonderful audio. Bye.